Well, it's Wednesday, and that means it's time for your Crime Stoppers report. Here's Wes.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. Time to do Crime Stoppers. Last week's tips resulted in such a favorable mode that we've decided to do it again. That's right. They're going to try to solve gun crimes and burglaries throughout our territory instead of going St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas individually. The folks at Crime Stoppers have received a high quality of tips received from you last week, and they're asking for your help again. Recently in the territory, we have seen prolific use of illegal guns and several violent confrontations where thugs had no reluctance in shooting at police and also law-abiding citizens like yourself. Now, illegal guns are also used in robberies. You know, carjackings a lot of times are used in robberies, or even worse, used in murder or assaults. Also, we want you to identify and arrest those who have been bringing in these weapons. We don't manufacture these guns here, so how in the world are all these weapons getting into our territory? Please, if you know something, say something. If you see something, say something by calling Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or 911. Also, we are still looking for Dylan Winston Vieira, that dangerous domestic violence suspect that went into Harborview and attacked a woman brutally, a 28-year-old woman. Winston Vieira is 5'5", 59 years old, and he is a brutal guy. We are still looking for him. There's an all-points bulletin to get that man off the streets. All right, we need to do that. Remember, he did this in front of a 5-year-old little boy. That 5-year-old little boy will be traumatized for the rest of his life as he had to watch his mother get brutally stabbed several times. And now I also have some very good news for you on a preventive measure. That's right. You know the situation in Ario Diaz, and it's just a win-win situation now. Deputy Police Chief Hal have told me a lot about that 80-foot tower, that water tower back there. It's unbelievable. That's a tragedy waiting to happen. That 80-foot water tank is just not being used. It's empty, and the entranceway to that is wide open. That's what the police found earlier this afternoon. Well, thank God, Deputy Police Chief Hal and his staff went out of their way to weld that area shut. Chief Hal climbed that 80-foot embankment, and he was scared to death. He found graffiti up there and evidence that we've had little children that climbed up there. Now, if they had gotten up there and fell through, their body could have never been recovered. That was just a tragedy. It's inhumane to even think that it existed. This is a message to housing, parks, and recreation. You need to really, really start stocking up and pay attention to what is happening in our community. To have that 80-foot water tank abandoned and to have our youth going up and down that on a regular basis is unheard of. Congratulations to the VIPD and the men in blue. That's not their job, but they took care of that today. So those are some things that we just don't talk about with the VIPD. And it is a crime. That's why I put it in Crime Stoppers. Congratulations to the VIPD for stopping your children from climbing up in there and never being heard of again. And again, to the truant officers, we've got to nail this situation down and make sure that these youngsters are in school. So with that, I think I've covered just about everything. We're still looking to get these illegal guns off the street. We're still looking for Winston Vieira to get behind bars. And congratulations to the VIPD. A fine job. That 80-foot tower could have been a tragedy waiting to happen. We don't want that to happen. So good job with that. That's your Crime Stoppers report and a little bit more. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes, for the Crime Stoppers report update. And also at Alexander Henderson Elementary School, there'll be a senatorial forum for them as well. It's important to keep our youth informed and get them into politics as soon as possible. That'll help them become better leaders for our future. The senatorial forum will be at 9 a.m. at Alexander Henderson Elementary School, and that again is tomorrow. And the kids will start a mock voting, which sounds like a lot of fun. They're going to have a mock voting, which will be from 12:30 to 3 p.m. and that'll be great for the kids, get them interested in politics as soon as possible. And speaking of which, it's still Red Ribbon Week, which means we've still got some of those great drawings that the kids brought in for us. These two are from Ricardo Richards tonight. And the first one, and of course, as you remember, will show the negative and then the positive so that the kids can see both sides of the issue and they get to make up these scenarios on their own, which is wonderful for the kids to do. Ricardo Richards, this one comes in to us from a young student who has a man offering another man drugs. And the man says yes. And that's on the negative side. And of course on the positive side, they're telling me to lift this up a little higher. On the positive side, you can see there is a man being offered drugs, and he says, no, I want to be drug-free. And that's one of the students' drawings from Ricardo Richards. We have another one where, again, someone is being offered drugs in the negative, and they are, of course, saying yes to that. And then on the positive side, they're being offered drugs again, and they're refusing to take drugs, being drug-free. And that's important for the kids to see both sides of the issue and keeping them well informed. And that, of course, is our Red Ribbon Week drawings for tonight. We'll have more from those, and those come to us from our very own News Channel 8 helper outer here, Brianna Gilbert from Complex. She's our intern, and she's playing my producer this week, and she's bringing those drawings to us. When we come back from this break, we'll have your Caribbean report as well as your weather forecast. Don't go away. And let's take a look at your Caribbean report for tonight. In St. Lucia's Police Commissioner Vernon Francocious has dismissed suggestions that his force is being dictated to by the government. Mr. Francocious has responded to claims by a popular talk show host who claims that lawmen are under the control of the current administration. The police chief has also been meeting with senior officers to finalize a new policing plan to replace the existing document, which expires in March of next year. And finally, in Belize City, a jaguar escaped from its cage in Belize's Animal Rescue Center during Hurricane Richard and has been blamed for mauling to death a U.S. citizen whose body was found on Tuesday. The 4-year-old male jaguar named Max escaped when the tree fell on its cage Sunday during the Hurricane Category 1 Richard, which hit the country's Caribbean coast with howling rains and winds. Authorities found the victim's body near the animal center on Tuesday. It had bite marks on his forearm and neck and apparently had been attacked the day before and dragged some distance. Belize National Police Force identified the victim as Bruce Cullington, an American who also has a Belizean citizenship. A spokesperson for the U.S. Embassy in Belize confirmed that the U.S. citizen died from a jaguar attack. The U.S. Embassy is not providing information on the man's hometown, name or photograph or otherwise. The escaped jaguar has been sighted in an area near the attack. The 130-pound jaguar had been taken to the Rescue and Research Center 2 years ago after a tourist resort which had held the animal gave it up after tourists complained. The center's operator, Richard and Carl Foster, rescue animals and attempt to return them to the wild. It is unclear whether Max will be put down if he is recaptured.